Like, I've been in this for 3.5 years now. Like, what else am I supposed to do? Am I going to start a school community and be another sales trainer? Like, what am I going to do? And that's a shitty place to be, man. You know, you start questioning yourself. Is it just because I suck? Everybody else seems to be crushing it because obviously, Facebook only shows the best of things. Now I'm doubting myself. My head's down and my confidence is low. Trust is at an all-time low. So we talk about, prospects coming up to calls in this, era of low trust, and they don't trust us. We don't even fucking trust the industry. We don't even fucking trust what we sell. No wonder they don't. No wonder they're skeptical. We don't even believe that anymore.
Adam, welcome. Welcome to the Closing Authority podcast, mate.
Appreciate that. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Now, you're a man that's done many things in the online space. You've been around for a wee bit here. Can you just give a little bit of introduction with a bit of your background, kind of like where you came from before sales, and then what was your introduction into it?
Yeah. I've lived many lives, I feel. Lived many lives. I mean, I was born in England, and when I was 13, my family moved over to Spain. So I grew up there, finished school there, moved to France to play rugby when I was 18, just before I was 19. So my first job out of high school really was professional rugby. Did that for 9 years professionally. Wow. Played international rugby for the Spanish national team and all sorts of stuff. So it was an amazing time. Finished my career in Germany, got into the gym industry. So just started on reception, mixing people's drinks. Then obviously became a personal trainer. Then I got into management, managed a huge project for the company, bringing a new brand to market. This massive three-story, 4,500 square meter discounter behemoth. I managed two of those with a total of 15,000 members and a staff of over 50 by the time I left 2 years later. Yeah, and I left there to become a partner in a CrossFit box that I was a member of. And so we grew that from one location to two. I think it was about 80 members to then a total of, I think, 300 or 400 when I left. Also staff of about 20. Realized that was the first time I went to Thailand. That was the first time I'd been like away, like quite far from home. Because throughout my whole rugby career, I was either training and playing, or in the off season I was training. So I didn't really travel much. Just went home to Spain for my birthday every year, basically. So I got to Thailand and I was like, oh my God, the world is insane. Like there's some cool shit out here. And I did not want to be tied down to a certain location anymore. And the gym was very much running my life in terms of where I needed to be and when and for how long. And that just didn't sit with me anymore. So got back from that literally, I think 2 months later. So it was August I went, September, October. So 3 months later,
and what year are we talking? Just to clarify.
2019. 2019, yeah. So 3 months later, I sold my shares of that. And then January 2020 launched business coaching for CrossFit gym owners across Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Took off, went phenomenally. It was a great time in the market. CrossFit was growing, very, very, very quickly. People needed help with that growth, and I had a lot of knowledge from the big gym industry and a lot of knowledge from what we'd done over the couple of years I've been there. And so I was also known because I used to compete in CrossFit as well. So I was kind of well known as an athlete, kind of well known for the success that the gyms had had. So took off January, and then March 2020, somebody decided to eat a bat halfway across the world and shut my target market down for a year. So battled through that, was able to help gym owners sort of, make the online transition and keep their clients, keep the revenue. So did okay through that. But then a year later, through the lockdown regulations in those countries, I just had to throw in the towel. I just didn't know how to help these people anymore. And, clients were canceling because they're like, dude, I know what I need to do now. I just need to sit it out and I just can't pay anyone. I'm like, I get it, man. I fucking wouldn't if you got me. So I had to throw in the towel.
Pandemics will do that, eh?
yeah. I was just like, dude, I'm with you. I don't know when this is going to end either. So lost the business through that, or kind of had to throw in the towel through that. I found my way into the high ticket space just through looking at the skills that I'd acquired. I knew how to market, I knew how to sell, and I knew how to fulfill and coach. Just kind of thought, which one do I kind of want to pursue now? And I just came across a post in a Facebook group with a guy saying, my average closer last year earned $168,400 or something. I was like, how much? Like, he just, hold on a second. So that guy didn't like make a piece of content. He didn't do any marketing, didn't run any ads. He didn't stress about how to nurture these people. He didn't have to coach them. He didn't have to fulfill on them. He didn't have to pay an assistant, a bookkeeper, and an accountant. Like, he didn't have to set up coaching. He didn't have to do any of that. And he made that much money. Really? I was like, well, I got to send this guy a message now. So yeah, I got the opportunity, and fuck, the rest is history, as they say. So since then, in the sales space, this was 3.5 years ago. So that was 2021. I got into that. I've closer, setter, DM setter, had the opportunity to coach hundreds of guys alongside Bill Walsh in the Objection Box. I was very, very fortunate to be a part of that journey the first 6 months over there. Got an opportunity to then manage a company, got, kind of headhunted to go and manage an offer. We took that from 300K per month in revenue to just under $1 million in 5 months. And then this past year, I've had the opportunity to do that across multiple accounts, running a done-for-you sales agency with the Nomadic Closer guys. So we, basically leveraging that skill across multiple different offers, different industries, trading algorithms, done-for-you, e-com, all sorts of different things. Had some great successes there. We took one offer to market, brand new offer to market, never been sold before. We took that from 0 to just over $1 million a month in revenue generated. We collected 86% of it, so it was about $860K in cash collected in 6 months. Hold on, June, July, August, September. So 5 months. 5 months it was. So yeah, managed to really get a really broad understanding of the sales space. And in business in general, and that's really led me to question the whole thing recently. If I'm on, I went through the same struggles as closers are going through: erratic offer owners, piss poor marketing. Having to really get myself deep into marketing and pricing and offering and positioning and processes and pre-call materials, etc. And I found myself doing everything but running a sales team. And it just really gave me a deep insight into the industry right now and its shortcomings. And it's great sides and opportunities, but also shortcomings that are built into it that none of us are questioning. Then we're accepting it as reality. And I don't like that. I don't accept stuff. I just question the fuck out of everything. And so once I kind of saw through it, it led me down a bit of a rabbit hole to see, okay, well, what else is out there? What other opportunities and options do we have? For those that don't want to accept that as just the way it is. And that's led us to where we are now, really.
No, that's awesome. And just before we get into that, because I do want to go through that side of things, because you're doing something really, really awesome at the moment. But before we do that, I'd really like to hear, like, what was your first offer? What was the first offer you got put on?
Yeah, first offer, Practice Acceleration. Fucking awesome company, man. Solid operation, like a true high performing company, not those that just say it because it sounds cool and they actually like walk the walk, right? And so it was basically a business coaching for physios, osteos, chiros, dentists, global company that had 2,500 clients when I was there. They must be well over 3,000 now. Run by a guy called Tristan Bond and his business partner, Sarah. Phenomenal operation. And it suited me down to the ground because it was a very high performing culture and very high accountability and just had to be really on it. Coming from a professional sports background, running my own businesses, it just made sense to me. So I really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. It was, there's been some very, very good closers come out of there as well. Like Anthony Vazzari, for example, at 7th level.
Ah, that was his first gig.
I was his replacement. He just left the 7th level. Oscar Guerrero's he's a bit of a phenom in the not well known in the high ticket space, but an absolute phenom. He's gone on to manage lots of different offers, coach reps. But he's doing really, really well in the space as well. Some really, really good people come out of that company. So yeah, I enjoyed the fuck out of it. I liked it.
And how long were you with them for before you went to the Objection Box next? Is that right?
That was 9 months. I think it was there for 9 months in total. Yeah, end of 2021 to like mid 2022. Yeah, generated 2.9 million in sales whilst I was there. Left with a perfect 50% close rate as well, which I was happy.
Not a bad 9 month run, right?
Yeah, it was exactly 50%. I think it was 150 something like strategy sessions I'd taken, and 75, 76, whatever it was. The number divided in half perfectly. So I was like, okay, that's cool. That's all right. I can move on.
Oh, that's sick. That's sick. And then when you went from there, how did you get connected with Bill? Because that's where you went next, right? You went from there to
Yeah.
the objection box. How did that come
Yeah.
about?
So I actually was on a meeting. This is funny. So I was on a meeting once, right? And so Tristan, the owner, hops on, and he's chatting about different, just a bit of small talk, chatting about different like sales stuff, like Jordan Belfort and this, that, and the other. And he was like, as long as you guys don't start listening to that fucking Jeremy Minor and his wishy-washy bullshit and this, that, and he just went off on one. So I was like, I never heard of this guy. I have who he is now, right? So I started looking into it. I started like listening to some of the content, and I was like, but this sounds like it makes sense to me. I wonder what his issue is. The more I listened to it, the more I was like, yeah, that's happening to me on some calls. Like, well, let me just look into this a little bit more. So eventually, can't remember how, but like I think I ended up booking a call or something through a funnel or in a Facebook group. I think Marco Cortese messaged me and ended up on a call, and Bill was the closer on the call.
Mm.
And yeah, that was an experience, I tell you. Yeah, he's one unnaturally, ungodly good salesperson, like very good, but in the right way.
Mm.
And so, yeah, signed up to NEPQ. Um, I know that they work with an awful lot of people there, but Bill just really, really did stay in touch with me. He kept me account. Like he used to run a Wednesday objection handling call. And about 3 or 4 Wednesdays into it, I genuinely had a dinner at a restaurant that you had to book like months in advance for, right? So I didn't go. And so he messaged me and he was like, he just said, where were you? And I was used to the whole like coaching vibe of, hey, Adam, hope you're well. Didn't see you on the call. Just wanted to reach out and make sure, blah, 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 right? He's like, where were you? I was like, "I'm sorry, dude. I had a dinner to go to." And he just messaged back, there's no point in buying a ticket to the show if you don't show up. That's all he said. And I was like, fuck. So sure as shit, I was on every single call after that. And so once he parted ways with Seventh Level, we actually I did some one-on-one coaching. We had a one-on-one call set up for that day, and he was like, hey, you can't make it, something's happened, and then just called me later and was just, chatting about it and stuff. And he was like, fuck, I'm just going to do my own thing, man. This is on a Thursday, right? I'm just going to do my own thing, coach people on objection handling and that. And on the Sunday, he launched the objection box. I was one of the first clients in there. And then 3 weeks later, he reached out and said, I'd like you to come on board and help me build this and help coach the guys. And it was an amazing opportunity. It was very, very, very much very unexpected. I like when he said it to me, I felt like turning around and being like, "We're like
the other guy."
talking to me." But like everything I've ever done, I just fucking threw myself into it, man. I just gave it absolutely everything I could. I wasn't in it to get, I was in it to give, and that's led to the next opportunity, to the next, and to the next. And it's something that I've noticed as a recurring pattern, that when I do that, that things open, doors open. People,
Yeah.
you end up. Napoleon Hill had a good saying. I'll probably butcher it, but the man who does more than he's paid for will soon be paid for more than he does.
Mm.
That's held true in my anecdotal experience so far.
I like that. I like that a lot. And how long were you with the objection box? How long were you with Bill?
It was for the first 6 months. For the
Okay.
first 6 months of it, yeah. So that took me until end of 2022.
And at what point? Because I remember hearing about the objection box from one of the closers that I was working on a team. He's like, man, there's this new thing. They have the top guys from everywhere. They're rogue. There's no structure, but it's amazing. You just go in and you get messed up. And he's like, I did a call with Bill and I had to buy. um, but So I know the culture, and I've been around it. And I've seen. I haven't personally been inside, uh, but I've been around quite a bit of it. What do you think was the biggest thing there that was different? Because he scaled that very quickly to
Very quickly.
quite a high level, and now
Yeah,
it's like it's a beast.
yeah. I think he hit 1 million in like 4 months.
Yeah.
It went very fast. I think it was a combination of things. Number one, his personality is so different and so refreshing, and it's polarizing for sure,
For sure.
100%. What people don't really see if they're not able to see pat. So here's the thing. In my opinion, oftentimes if we're not able to look past just what somebody's saying, and we're not able to just really hear and listen to where it's coming from or what's being said behind it, it's very easy to get offended. It's very easy to get, put off by it. But if you just like relax, because he just like really listen to what he's saying, that guy, there's nobody with a bigger heart. Like Bill has a
Mhm.
huge heart and cares very, very deeply about the people that come onto the objection box, who he works with, his team. And I don't think I think a lot of people don't understand and see that just because they take everything at face value. He's
Mhm.
just being himself. He's just being abrasive. He's just being a fighting Irish guy. Do you know what I mean? Like so what? Like so what? But if you're able to look past it and it's like, okay, well, what's in it for me? Maybe if I can just not listen to some of the words that he says. What's in it for me? What's in it for anybody is learning a skill, which is a huge gap in the market. And it's a gap in the market because a lot of sales trainers will say, if you do everything perfectly, you'll get an objectionless close. And I know why they're saying that. Number one, because it insinuates that I don't like objections, but if I learn what he's saying, I'll never get them. I'll never have to deal with them. And so I buy. Secondly, the reason why they're doing it is because they don't know how to handle objections. So if I
Mhm.
tell you that you just do this, you won't have to learn that. I know I don't have to teach you because I don't know. That's why they're doing it. And so what they do is they put all this pressure on everything up until okay, you ready to go, which then equals internal pressure for the closer, where you sat there hoping and praying this motherfucker won't tell me I need to think about it. Where their little sphincter is puckering, their shoulders are coming up to their ears, they're leaning into the thing, the balls are creeping up the front side of the body because they don't know what to do, right?
You're 100%.
I know. I know I'm right. So that's really what he brings to the table, and why he's been so successful is because he won't let you get away with anything. He will speak the truth, even if it hurts, and he will do it because he fucking cares. Actually, that's the real deal. That's the inside scoop. And I have no affiliation to the objection box. I ain't getting commissions. I need fucking people that sign up from this. I just say that because it's the truth, and that's my personal experience working with him.
That's awesome. So when you left at 6 months in, what was the company doing? If you can share that, what did they get up
Uh,
to?
I actually don't know, like on a monthly. I couldn't tell you on a monthly. I know he totaled in the 4 months about 1 million.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Okay. Gotcha.
crossed the million threshold in like cash collected in 4 months. Yeah, I couldn't tell you how much it was monthly though. I didn't really care at the time, to be honest. I was just happy to be there.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. It was a good place to be.
Yeah,
It
100%.
still is. That's cool. That's cool. And then when you finished up with the objection box, you said you got headhunted. Where'd you get headhunted to?
Yeah,
Who came and scooped you up?
that's a story. So there was an offer that I'd very, very briefly worked on before Bill asked me to go full time with him. And I closed on it for 2 weeks. I actually didn't, I hardly closed anything, to be honest, those first 2 weeks. It was really just like, because I was working with Bill and I was just kind of like trying to get orientated there and whatnot. But like I always do, I did throw myself into it. I did, I just showed up with a good attitude and this, that, and the other. And after 2 weeks, I said, hey man, I got an opportunity to go and, work time with this, full time with this. So, I'm off basically. And the owner said, what would it take for you to stay? And I knew I wasn't staying. So I was like, jokingly, I was like, 6-figure base. And he was like, haha, okay, whatever. Wish you the best. A few months later, I don't think I've ever told this story publicly. So a few weeks later, he was blowing up my phone. He was messaging me on Facebook, on WhatsApp, this, that, and the other. And I was ignoring him because like, I was just happy with what I was doing. I didn't really want to spend the time saying no. I'd already said no. Like, I just,
Yeah.
what, this, was just saving my time really. But the 3 closers on his offer were all objection box students. So then they started messaging me. They're like, yo, Raz trying to reach out to you. He wants to talk to you. I was like, let me see what he wants. And so I hopped on a call, and he basically said, yeah, listen, man, I'm looking to scale this and this, that, and the other. And I'd like to bring you in to manage the sales team. But I like the way you operate. I like the way how you work, and obviously the guys respect you and look up to you and this, that, and the other. I was like, well, cool, yeah, thanks, but no, I'm good where I am. And he was like, well, like, what would it take? And I'd like, yeah, like stupid money. So like, and I said to him, because I'd be putting a price on a friendship and a partnership that I really, really value. And so the little shit said to me, well, you're in a fortunate position that you can name your price. And I was like, oh, no. So I was like, well, I mean, appreciate that. It's obviously not a number I can put on it right now. Like I said, I'd be putting a price on a relationship that I really value. And it's not something I can tell you now. He's like, okay, but would you, smart line he brought out as well. He said, would you be open to continuing the conversation? I was like, I suppose so. And so the whole point of the exercise for me was very selfishly to find out what my perceived value in the marketplace was. I've never told this story publicly. I'm just going to be brutally honest. I just wanted to know how far could I push this? What is my perceived value in the marketplace right now? I had zero intention of leaving. Here's what happened. We spoke on a Friday. So we set up another call for the Wednesday. After the call, he messaged me and he said, what's your address? I want to send you my favorite book. So I was like, it's kind of nice of him. He's courting me. So I sent in my address. Now, at the time, I was living in the Azores Islands. A lot of people probably won't have heard of them because they're tiny little islands that are smack bang in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So you've got Portugal and the US. They're right in the middle. They're tiny. You got to zoom the fuck in on Google Maps to find them. So I'm like, if you want to try and send a book there, sweet. No stress. Like, I'm up to you. So on the Tuesday, the day before our call, he messages me and says, hey man, I might be a little bit late for our call tomorrow. I'm off to see a guy in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean about a job. And he sends me a picture of him in the waiting, in the lounge at an airport. And I'm like, you mad bastard, are you coming over here? And he said, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. So I was like, oh shit. Like, he means business here. So he flew out, he rocked up, he had a gift for me, he had a Louis Vuitton wallet with my initials engraved in it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So all it meant to me was I knew I had good, like he really wanted me, he meant it, I had really good negotiating power and whatnot. Still no intention of leaving though. Mm. And so eventually we got to talking and, what I'd be in charge of, what I'd be doing, the role and responsibilities. And it was exactly what I wanted to do. It was exactly what I wanted to do. I've always loved leading and managing and training and looking after guys. And that was a position I was always going to grow into with Bill. Sure. But I didn't know when. Is it 6 months away? Is it a year away? Is it 2 years away? This was now. And it was a substantial amount of money that I was able to negotiate. And at the end, I was like, fuck, you've given me no reason to say no now. And I still tried to give him a think about it. And he said, tell me. And I was like, shit, I think I got to do it. And it was an incredibly hard decision, very, very hard decision. But ultimately, it's been a stepping stone to some very, very good things for me personally. And I'm glad I did it. It was very, very tough. It was very, very hard. But ultimately, it was a phenomenal experience. And I'm very, very, very grateful for him for giving me the opportunity. Incredibly grateful for having Bill by my side that time and being able to mentor under him. I've been, very, very fortunate, man. Very fucking fortunate.
And now, mate, you can't leave it on a cliffhanger like that. You gotta let us know what was that amount? What was the first number you threw? He doesn't have. Did he go for the first number you threw, or was there a bit?
Well, we got it into a position where I could realistically hit the first number. So not from day one, but 2-3 months down the line, yeah. So dude. But I tell you, the lesson that I learned from it, man, was exactly that. It's that everything that I've been fortunate enough to get as an opportunity, I've never been in it to get. I've always been in it to give. And so, of course, whilst there was a good negotiation on the pay for it to make sense for me to leave in the first place, that was put to bed very immediately. It was just like, okay, what can I do? How can we grow this? How can I help? How can we build this thing? And it's just served me well, man. Served me well, Phil. So anybody that wants to find an opportunity or a role or get into sales management, I always tell them, like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm the worst person to ask. This shit's always come to me. But then it got me thinking, why has it come to me and not the next guy? And I think that's the reason. It's to be in it to give, not to get. It works. It's worked for me.
I love that. I absolutely love that. and just quick one on that. What what did you see? Because I know, like you said, you're not the guy to ask for it, but sorry, getting a little bit sick. Okay. What do you think it was that you provided value into that you could like describe? Because I know there's everything, but like, what do you think if you had to boil it down to like the top 3 things that you brought to the table? What would they be?
I think it was a very good amalgamation of, that's a good word there, amalgamation of the skills that I acquired up until then. And so through rugby, I'd learned the qualities of leadership, of self-responsibility, self-management, holding up your end of the bargain, not being a pussy, like those rules.
It's a big one.
So I think you probably wrap it up into sort of leadership, which also it includes an amount of self-accountability and responsibility and looking after others. So that I'd acquired through rugby, through my own businesses, through CrossFit, through the gyms. And then that crossed over with this sales skill that I've been fortunate enough to learn from Bill. And so that sort of crossover meant that I was able to lead a bunch of guys, but also actually help in improve their skill set whilst having enough balls to work with the business owner and not be used by him, which I think is a lot, the case with a lot of people, that they struggle to find that balance of, I'm a sales manager now, but I seem to be getting shit from below and shit from above, and everybody wants me to do this, and I don't know how to kind of stand my ground and say what I want and say what I think is right and stand by it. And so I think that was the crossover. It was leadership, sales acumen, and not being a pussy, I'd say.
Most important, mate.
To put it unpolitically correct, yeah, I think so.
And what was that company doing when you came in? What was that kind of doing a month?
Was I doing 200 to 300K in revenue per month? Probably collecting about half of it, 50 to 60%. And they've been going for a good year. So they've gone from like 0 to 100K like that. And then, kind of got it to 200 to 300K. And now people was the bottleneck in a sense. So the lead flow is insane, like just massive lead flow. Decent fulfillment, good fulfillment, good systems, etc. But the owner was just drawn into the sales team of things, and he had no sales skill, acumen, experience, or desire to learn that. So he hired me, and he hired a guy to take care of the DM setting department, and we basically tripled the company in a few months.
Yeah, not bad. Just very casually, just tripled the company in a very few months.
Yeah, it was ready for it. Obviously there was a lot of work to do. The big thing that I did really was just create a very good onboarding and ramp up process, so that we could bring more guys in to handle the lead flow, and we could then just grow the size of the team to then grow the quality of the team. So it was it sounds simple, but everything in life is simple. It's just not easy. Getting in shape is very simple. Eat less calories and eat more calories than you expect. Eat less calories. Eat less calories than you expend, and move. Exactly. It's very simple. It's just not easy. It's the same. It's the same with that. Very, very simple.
And going from there, man, when because you've moved on from that company now, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
You joined Nomadic Closer, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
How did that come about?
Yeah. Again, funny story. So Joel and Harlan, two other partners in Nomadic Closer, they were both members of the Ejection Box whilst I was coaching them. So just built a relationship, just clicked instantly, got on really, really well, very similar people. And so this was even before Joel had started Nomadic Closer. And so he started that. He launched the Facebook group, and we just always kind of like messaged back and forth. I was always cheering them on from the sidelines. I like what they were about. I like what they were doing. And then it was halfway through last year. So yeah, mid 2023, he said something along the lines of, "Hey man, might have an opportunity to build like an agency and manage multiple accounts and whatnot." And I fucking, yeah, I'd love to, man. Because at that point I've been at the other company for nearly a year, and I was really enjoying it. Kind of felt like I'd acquired a good skill set, and I understood how to manage a team. And the thought was popping up: can I leverage this skill set across multiple offers now? Can I, make sure that my income is sort of growing, but also stabilized through that? Having multiple streams of income, etc. So all these thoughts coming up. So I was like, yeah, let me know. And then towards the end of last year, October, November, he said, "Yo, you ready?" And I was like, "Yeah, sign me up. Let's go." I always wanted to work with him anyway. And Joel had basically met a guy who was a growth operator who basically approaches very scalable companies like, trading algorithms, software kind of companies and that. And he offers them to create ads, funnel, sales, and put in the ad spend. And he basically gets like 60 to 70% of that cash, and the company only has to fulfill. And so it's like a bolt-on revenue stream for a company. It's kind of a smart model. And so he just brought us in to be the sales side of things. So we just plug into his marketing, and he was just doing this, with multiple different companies. And yeah, it's great. Awesome experience.
Are you guys still working with him, or have you guys branched off since and now doing more?
Yeah, no, branched off as well. So, Joel's phenomenal networker. So we also got, clients from other sources and whatnot. I stepped away from Nomadic just a couple of weeks ago now. It's pretty fresh. All
Oh, wow.
on super good terms. Yeah, like Joel's literally, he lives like right next door to me. He's through that wall. Could knock on his wall right now. Um, that's it. But I was just over the agency model, man. I was just tired of it. Wasn't
What
enjoying it.
part did you get tired of?
Yeah, I'll fucking tell you, mate. It's you get dragged when you're in that position where you're highly dependent on a company for your to make money off of it. You're reliant on their marketing being solid, their fulfillment being solid, this, that, and the other. And so I was getting dragged in. I found getting dragged in to fixing ads and messaging and explaining to the offer owner who the avatar actually is and what the psychographics of that person is. And you ask like, well, what's the avatar? It's like, well, anyone. I was like, there we go. So we went, once you've gone
It's
through that,
not. It's not everyone.
telling you, honest to God. So you're looking at ads, you're fixing funnels and copy and pre-call stuff, and the sequencing of events, and even the pricing structure and the offering, etc. And I found that I was just fixing everything except running. I was doing everything except running a sales team. And I was like, well, that's what I like. That's what I'm good at. This is draining. I just wasn't enjoying it anymore, man. Great money, like you can earn really, really good money, but does it just? I just realized it just doesn't make up for it, man. It just doesn't make up for it. It just wasn't what I was. And so that's the funny thing, is that I was experiencing every single bugbear, and I was even in a position to have some element of control over it. And even then, it was tough. The typical problems that closers are coming up against, where marketing is sending them people that they shouldn't be talking to, where show rates are whacked because people are sending people from a ad to a 2-minute VSL to a call, as if like that's going to relinquish someone from $25,000. It's just like all these things that all you guys as closers are experiencing, I experience as well. And I even was in a position to do something about it, and I still didn't like it. I still wanted out. That was eye opening, man. That was really, really eye opening.
And that's what that kind of leads you to where you are right now, if I'm not mistaken.
It does. Yeah, it does. So there are inherent downsides. Everything in life has equal up and downside. There's nothing that has pure upside. And so there are inherent built-in downsides to the high ticket space, which we are all accepting as reality. That's just kind of the way it is. And the market is moving in a direction where there are offers, courses, mentorships being created to combat those problems. That to me started to feel like, hold on a second, it feels like something's off, and we're trying to sharpen a knife in a gunfight. We're trying to solve things that are just like really so broken that we're having to expend inordinate amounts of energy and time and money to circumvent them. I have to buy a course to find the A+ offers. And, James Lawrence has brought out a phenomenal course now that uses AI to help with that. And I don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we shouldn't be doing that. And I do still think high ticket is a place where you can find what you're looking for from it, as long as you are understanding of the current stats and industry kind of benchmarks to understand like what you can get out of it. I just felt like it was getting to a point where like we're having to go to these lengths to find a good product to sell. Like, is it that bad? I just doesn't. It started to bug me a little bit, and I don't like to accept things as reality if I don't have to, and I like to question things, and just led me down a rabbit hole of like, how much are people earning these days? Like, how many hours are they working? Like, what's going on? Because everybody I spoke to was like, oh, there's a lot of shitty offers out there. This has been tough. Just locking in the next few months and just trying to grind and get myself back out of the hole because of. I'd speak to closers and they just don't have any money to their name. I'm like, why? Like, this is weird. It doesn't make sense to me. And so sent me down a big rabbit hole to find out the facts and the figures, and they're shocking. And the average lifespan of a typical high ticket offer nowadays is 4.7 months.
That's ridiculous.
7 months before a founder pivots, shuts it down, it goes out of business. Marketing crashes every 2.3 months on average. Every 2.3 months, every 2.3, like every 10 weeks, your lead flow's fucked. Your lifeline, your income, it's fucked. Closers are having to start from scratch 3.4 times a year. And it's costing them on average between $12,000 and $27,000 in lost income every single time that happens. And so then you find out that 7.2% of closers ever hit their annual income goals. And it's no wonder. And you think, well, shit. Then I went and spoke to like actual people. And I did market research interviews. The group participants that participate in the interviews were in high ticket for 3.6 years on average, just over 3.5 years now. I think that's just indicative of my audience and the people, because I've been in that space for as long. They were earning, from what they told me, people have questioned it, not in terms of my credibility, but maybe they were inflating the numbers a little bit. I didn't look at their bank accounts. I can only go by what they told me. But they were earning, on average, $10,500 per month the last 3 months. And they were working 9 hours a day to do it. Now, the thing is, on average, 9 hours. The thing is that I asked them all what their original goals were. The vast majority, I don't want to quote the exact percentage figure because I can't remember it now, but it was a high percentage. Most said 20 to 30K months. Most said time freedom or some level of time or autonomy. And most said to be able to build something for the future, to build some sort of passive income and be able to then branch out and acquire a skill to then go on to the next things. Well, out of the 19 people that I asked, guess how many had any sort of income outside of commission?
How many?
2 of them.
It's ridiculous.
17 of them had nothing. So if they want to take 4 weeks off, either they can't or they just nuke their own. They just reset themselves back to zero. That's a hamster wheel, my man. When you can't get out of it, when you can't step away from it, that's a golden handcuff situation. That's a hamster wheel. Now, my conclusions are that there is an element of personal responsibility. Yes. What are these people doing about it? What are they? But I didn't ask for the exact figures of how much in dollar amounts so they invest in sales training. But I did ask ChatGPT to summarize the transcripts and find out they'd invested a substantial amount, almost all of them, and they'd all express that whilst they find it important they hadn't really seen the ROI that they wanted to from it. And so again, it was like, so time and money out in attending the coaching calls and studying and learning and practicing and role playing, spending 5 figures on this, no money and time back. So
makes no sense.
No. So then it got me thinking, well, is it just the industry, the state of the industry? And it took me down the rabbit hole of looking at other options. So what else is there out there? Corporate sales, you have a 1.4% chance of earning consistent 30K months there, as opposed to a 0.5% in high ticket. So you
and just to refresh on that, because that's a big number. Let's not just bypass that. Okay. How much of a percentage do you have at making 30K months?
Consistent 30K months, 0.5%.
Yeah. Broken.
I know. Right. So then it's like, okay, do I adjust my expectations? That can help. If you are happy and cool with earning 10 grand a month, then high tickets, like, cool, you can do that. It's great. If it's not impossible, but it is statistically getting harder. I identify as a smart, lazy person. There are smart people that overthink and overcomplicate shit and just, it seems to take them inordinate amounts of time to do simple tasks. Then there are lazy people that just don't do the task. I identify as a smart, lazy person. I like to get as much as I can out for as little as possible in. And I think that's fairly human nature. And so corporate sales, you can get great base pays, 80 grand, 120K a year, just without picking up the phone, right? But the big thing that you are sacrificing is the time element. You are 100% on somebody else's clock. And so there is another industry where you are 740% more likely to hit consistent 30K months, where you don't have that time constraint. You do actually get to genuinely work on your own schedule because you're not selling somebody else's product. It's a product that has been around for centuries and people want and need. There's a particular segment of it even that's designed more for the wealthier and affluent. So you're solving rich people problems.
Which, I mean, let's be clear, for every closer that's listening, we always complain about the people that we're talking about, right? We're always like, these leads are broke. Well, it's because you're talking to broke people.
Yep, exactly. And so, yeah, it's been a very, very interesting exploration of all of this, and but also very, very exciting because I feel I've genuinely found something that I can build a bridge to for people that are maybe in the high ticket space that feel like they are kind of coming to the outer echelons of what they're able to, they're maybe starting to feel that it is not going to be possible for them to earn 20K, 30K months. They are tired of the bullshit. They are tired of the lies of the OTEs and of the offer owners, and they are tired of coming in and being promised the world and then marketing crashing every 2.3 months and but not seeing any way out. Like, I've been in this for 3.5 years now. Like, what else am I supposed to do? Am I going to start a school community and be another sales trainer? Am I gonna what am I gonna do? And that's a shitty place to be, man. You start questioning yourself. Is it just because I suck? Everybody else seems to be crushing it because obviously, Facebook only shows the best of things. Now I'm doubting myself. My head's down and my confidence is low. Trust is at an all-time low. So we talk about, prospects coming up to calls in this, era of low trust, and they don't trust us. We don't even fucking trust the industry. We don't even fucking trust what we sell. No wonder they don't. No wonder they're skeptical. We don't even believe that anymore.
Name me a closer, okay, on a team name me a team where every closer on it has bought in the product. You ain't gonna find it.
Nope. Of course not. No, that doesn't mean that you can't have success selling it. That doesn't mean there aren't good offers out there. And I'm very, very mindful of my languaging, and I never like to speak in absolute truths, but the data just shows that it's getting increasingly harder. And so where do you turn after 3.5 years if you're just not where you originally would like to be? You either start building a personal brand, having to create content, spend extra time outside of your 9 hours a day networking, finding new opportunities, investing more money into mentorships and courses to help you find these opportunities. Is it like, do we go into these extraordinary... I've been reading some posts recently. This one girl in the group, bless her, like fucking hats off to the hustle. But she wrote a post, and it was a very long post about how she landed an offer that she really, really wanted and the length that she had to go to. Now, of course, the post was, sort of just showing other people that it's possible, that you just got to go the extra mile. You got to be different. And I fucking applaud that, man. Like for real. I was like, that's impressive. But it also made me think, why are we having to do that now? Like, what extremes we're going to? Is there not a better place to apply the skills that you already have? And I do genuinely believe that that there is one that we have found.
So tell me, where is it? Where, if closers have been here, right? Or, the guy that saw online closing and decided to start his own agency,
right?
Many of those are there. And they're like, they're sick and tired of this. Where do they go? What's the alternative?
So the alternative that I found is an industry that, like, it's kind of hiding in plain sight. But the problem that is the issue why it's not typically considered a viable option is because it does have its inherent downsides as well, which lead 98% of people over there to quit in their first 12 months. So the real story behind it is me meeting a guy since I've been here in Colombia, Medellin, since the beginning of the year, going on a year now, and hearing how much money his people were making off of his services, off of his system. And he basically serves people in this market and solves the three main problems that they have that cause them to quit in the first 12 months. And like, it's a non-issue. And therefore his guys are making 62K, 84K in 10 days. One guy made $184,000 in commission in 1 month. $101,000. That was Eli Juarez, a little old Spanish lady, mother of three. $101,000 in her highest month. Wild. So the industry is actually the life insurance industry in the US market, and very specifically the IUL industry. And so it's a life insurance policy which has a life insurance component, has some health insurance components, some death beneficiary components, but also cash value component, which is linked to market performance. So your money grows and compounds over time, but it has another advantage over the markets is it has a bottom floor cap and a growth cap, which means it never loses money, but it can only grow 12%. And over time, I did a webinar last Friday where I showed the graphs. It outbeats the S&P 500 because it just doesn't lose. So it's incredibly good life insurance policy, which has slightly higher premiums because of this, which means it's only really available to those that have, not millionaires, like it's not that niche down, but somebody who is earning, good 5 figures a month. So you're talking to people who actually have and want the thing that you sell. We're not talking about, $70, $80 premiums. We're talking about $400,000 or $500,000 premiums is not uncommon in that industry. And all that means is that your commissions are therefore higher. You're talking to a higher quality person, and your commissions are higher. Now, the downfall of this industry is that typically to break into it, you have to tap out your warm market, meaning your friends, your family, your Facebook, your neighbors, your dog, your auntie, your uncle. You become the prick at Thanksgiving that nobody wants to sit next to for fear of you slinging them a fucking IUL insurance policy, right? So if you've gone that route, the next step for an insurance agent typically is to go and buy leads. They'll go to a lead provider and they'll buy contacts or buy leads. Now, the issue with these is that people will then say you can buy cheap leads. Now, cheap leads mean they are old, recycled, and low intent. Old meaning they put their information in months ago. Recycled meaning they've been sold to multiple people, so they're being spoken to by God knows how many people now. And low intent meaning sometimes they didn't even put their information to find out about insurance. They did it to win a prize or something. And so it's hard. It's tough. It's really a grind for those that don't have the system that my guy uses and provides that has high intent, exclusive, and live real-time leads.
And how does that happen? How does that transition? Because like what you're saying almost describes as like worse than the high ticket, if they didn't even know they wanted to be there.
If you don't have this, it's worse. It is worse. for the first year, 100%. 98% quit in their first year. There's other reasons. No sales training. They're not provided with, or there is no real sort of sales training market over there. People are recruited kind of off the street, Joe Schmo, and then they go and get their license, and then best of luck to you. They don't have any support structures around them, so they're very much they're even more of a lone wolf than they are working with inside a high ticket company. So it has down, like, I'm not saying it's all, it's all it's all rainbow and unicorns, but the system that ran a webinar on just on Friday to go through this opportunity, and we've got the first 8 people who've signed up who are currently going to be using this system, and we're going to be running as a case study group to see what happens when you put sales training and sales acumen into this system. So this guy's system has produced people submitting $62,000 in business in his first 4 weeks whilst working a full-time job and never having sold an IUL policy before. Eddie Guadas with 101. Shadi submitted 84 in 10 days. David Fisher did 184 in 1 month. That was from an IUL and annuity leads, but that's a separate topic. Chris George has earned no less than $60,000 a month for the last 13 months straight. He's only ever 3 chargebacks in his whole career from this. Like, I was getting sick to the back fucking teeth of hearing about it. I was like, bro, what is it that you actually do? And so what he does is they are Google leads. So they are actually online searching for IUL policies. These are not Facebook lead form ads, Instagram ads, where you're trying to scroll through, look at tits and ass or whatever fucking anybody looks at on Instagram these days, and then suddenly thinking, IUL policy? That sounds amazing. What a great idea. Let me look into it. It's not happening, is it? So Google leads, they're actually actively for the thing. Okay. They're searching for the thing right there, right then. They come into the page, they have a 13 question application to fill out. 13 questions, things about health, income, all these invasive questions to increase friction, to increase the friction in the fund. If you don't want an IUL policy, you're not filling out that 8th question. You just can't be asked. They then have to verify their phone number through text message to submit the application so that you have real data in real time from somebody who really wants the fucking thing that you're selling. He then sets you up with a custom CRM, custom Go High Level CRM. That lead comes into the CRM and it's connected to lead transfer to immediately dial the person. So your phone rings, you hit a button, and it dials that lead. They're now on a booking page to book in a call with you, and it's all custom set up with your own name, your own face on it. And so that once they pick up, you're like, yo, it's Liam here. And they're like, what, the guy I'm looking at on the screen? They're like, yeah, it's me. Trips them out every time. Speed to lead is soulful because they go with the first person who gets them. Because an IUL policy is an IUL policy. There's no point in shopping around. They just go with the first person who gets them. He even sets you up with a credibility page as well. So if somebody goes away and Googles you, because it's still a financial product on the internet, there's a whole page about Liam and his experience in this, that, and the other. And then, so he has the marketing process, the sales process as well. They don't pick up. The CRM is kitted out with conversational AI, not the Go High Level integrated one because it's not very good. Conversational AI that will keep following up the person, answer any questions they have, keep pushing them to book a call. It's set up with every single automation and pipeline stage you can think of, all the information, the reminders, the nurture, the this, the that, the other, all the way from first contact, all the way to the application being approved. And the last piece is the sales training. This is the other thing that stops people from succeeding in this industry. He has the sales training laid out front to back, from first call to illustration to application to managing the prospects throughout the whole process, from the very guy who's done no less than $60K a month for the last 13 months straight, who's developed a 3-call process where it's not even low pressure selling, it's no pressure selling. It's just walking people through a process. And he has the whole training laid out back to front from somebody who's walking the walk that didn't make 10K once and is now trying to sell you on what he did to get there. It's somebody who's actually doing the thing that you're going to be doing. And so the system works where you actually start with just 50 leads a month. And that is how that guy submitted 62K in business in his first 4 weeks working a full-time job. It's off of 50 leads. That's a lead and a half a day.
50 leads, that's it.
A lead and a half a day on average. Wow. Because they're high intent, they're exclusive, you're the only person that this lead is assigned to, and they're live. They're on the line right here, right now, whilst their phone is ringing. And so if you don't have that combination, you're in for a tough ride. When you have that, put that on top of a product that's been around for centuries, that is regulated by law, that nobody's asking if it's a scam or if it works. Nobody's hopping on a call asking you, what is it you guys do again? And your commissions are regulated by law also, not on a founder's whims. They're not paid out at the 14th and then on the 21st, fuck all's in your bank account. Every time an application gets approved, boom, money hits your bank account. Boom, money hits your bank account. You've got positive cash flow all the time.
You don't have to wait till the end of the month.
Nope. Nope. Once that application gets submitted, you get paid out in 48 hours, depending on the insurance carrier. But it's as it happens.
Wow.
Yep. And so you have inherent up and downside in everything. High ticket has its upside, it has its downside. The downside here is the upside here. Our system has eliminated this downside. It's gone. It's a non-issue. You're only left with the upside.
That's awesome. I like it. So what's the catch? You know, there's always something, right?
Yeah. So the catch is you have to get a license to be able to do this. It's currently only, this opportunity to work with us on this is only for US citizens. You have to get a license. I know. Believe you me, I've been down some Reddit threads to find out if I can do it as a UK citizen. You can't. You got to be a US citizen. You have to get a license, and so that is a expenditure of time and effort that a lot of people just write off as no, then I'm not doing it. I think it's short-sighted. It's exactly the same as getting a driver's license. You have about 20 hours of sort of pre-education and learning that you need to do. You sign up for the test, you get the test, you get your background check done, you're off to the races. This license doesn't let you drive a car. It allows you to potentially earn $500,000 a year. Think about that guy who's doing 60 to 70K a month. Like, that's nearly $750,000 a year.
And what's the cost of getting licensed? Because, most closers, they're dropping 10 grand on a sales training. I don't know any sales training less than 5.
Total cost of getting a license? Anywhere between $100 and $300.
No.
Depends on the state.
Wow. So you could theoretically get licensed in, if it was $300, right? The high side, $300. You could get licensed in nearly 30 states for the same cost as an average high ticket.
Exactly. Wow. Which is 30 times the opportunity.
That's nuts.
Yep. I know. And so if anybody is like, well, 20 hours, I don't know if I want to do that. It's either 20 hours of just learning a thing that you probably spend onboarding onto your new offer anyway. You probably spend about 20 hours if you're like worth your salt in learning the product and the funnel and the avatar anyway. You either spend 20 hours doing that and pay a couple $100, or you spend another 20 months building somebody else's shit. Like, that's a decision you just got to make for yourself. And so
where can they find you if they want to be able to get into this? They're sick and tired of the grind. Where can they find you, Adam?
Well, Facebook is probably the best place to find me. Adam Paul Taylor. There was a fake profile going around not long ago. So if an Adam Paul Taylor offers you crypto, don't take it. I've got no crypto to share with anyone. Facebook would be the best place. I'll be doing another web because I had a lot of people that wanted a replay of the last webinar, and I said no replays because I wanted to reward the people that actually showed up and took the time, made the time to come on the call. I had a lot of people ask me for a replay. I said, all right, I won't do a replay, but I'll do another one. So this coming Friday, December 6th, 12 to 2 p.m. EST, I'll be doing a full breakdown of what we've discussed today, but in much more detail with the exact steps and the opportunity that awaits and what the upside and the downside and the catch is and how it works and what you can expect from it. And so just DM me on Facebook. There'll be a Facebook group that you'll be added into where we'll be, educating and informing and helping people understand that there is another option. And that is my whole goal with this, is not to convince anybody that high ticket is dead, that you should be leaving, that, it's a sinking ship. I'm not here to say that. My whole goal with this is to show that there is another option for those that have felt like maybe they're a little bit stuck, maybe they're a little bit trapped. They don't know what their next move is. They don't know where to go. They don't know what their next move could be. I wanted to make sure that I gave the people something that can actually give them the income goals that they were looking for, actually give them the opportunity to work on their own schedule, and actually find a little bit of an actual community of people that are going through the same thing and going through the same experience without a sales manager breathing down their neck. I'm not going to be there asking for end of day reports. Like, I ain't going to be on anybody's ass. It's up to them to make it. And I think that's what everybody wanted in the first place. So, short answer.
And that's coming from, you know, not to toot your horn, but like that's coming from someone that hasn't failed in this industry. You know, you have been at what I'd say is considered the top of the top inside of the, you know, high ticket closer management side of things. Like you've walked the walk. So for you to say this, it's not like it's someone that's made, you know, that 10 grand once or even that 20K once. And it's like, no, this is the next thing, you guys. Like,
yeah. I've gone to extraordinary lengths to back up every single fact and figure with citable verified sources. That was a big thing in my research. It's a big thing in the webinar. I've made my posts, my content, FTC. I've asked ChatGPT to scan it for FTC compliance because I think we're all sick of these promises and claims of this. This is the next big thing. This is amazing. All I've done is laid out the facts and the figures. All I've done is laid out the data, and all I've done is made sure that everything I say and everything I claim is a verifiable fact and not an opinion. And I think that's why it's resonating with people, because not many people are doing that. And I was very, very bullish on not being another one of those guys. So I appreciate that it comes across that way as well.
100%. Well, guys, if you like this episode, make sure to give it a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments who you guys want to see on next. Thank you again, Adam. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks for sharing your audience with me.